Yesterday, a very well-known retired Trenton High School teacher, and he's been very much in the news and sports news, Duncan Armstrong, made it. He was the first. He was the first out of the blocks in Quinte West to declare that he was going to run in Trenton Ward 1. Now, what we're hearing is that there could be a number of councillors in Quinte West who will not run for re-election. Mayor John Williams will not be running for re-election, so it's kind of open, very wide open in Quinte West. And Duncan Armstrong, probably best noted for his outstanding efforts in organizing for the new track at Trenton High School, where he has been a coach in so many different sports. I can't remember them all, but certainly track and field at the forefront with his efforts. And of course, they had entered and he had organized a craft event with TSN and won it. And on the line, the first guy out of the gate, here is Duncan Armstrong. Good morning, candidate.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I know you've been thinking about this for a long time. What made you decide to do it on the first day, the first moment of eligibility?
Well, I wanted to make sure people knew that I'm very serious about running for council. I know there's strategies involved in when to announce, but I just felt, I've been thinking about this ever since I retired, that I'd be running, and I was more or less chomping at the bit for this day to come, and Rob Ford beat me to the punch by about 10 minutes, so I need to work on my sprint start, I think.
You know what? I don't. If I were you, I wouldn't really want to get in a race with Rob Ford on anything.
Not at all.
Bottom line is that you're retired. You have time. You have put a lot of effort. Your passion has been with the track, and it's outstanding what happened there in the craft tour that they had a year or so ago, and Trenton won, and all through that. That's given you a lot of exposure, but you've also, I mean, let's face it, you've been teaching for so long, Duncan. You're well known, and that's got to help. Have you always had this interest in municipal politics?
Well, I've always had an interest in politics. From a very early age, being from a military family, we grew up around politics. The news all the time was at the kitchen table, so that's been all my life. But in terms of municipal politics, I feel it's a great opportunity to try and make a change, and I think I've done a lot for the community during my teaching years, and now that I'm retired, I can dedicate so much more time and hopefully be effective if I'm elected. It's going to be a very formidable race. The people that step forward, I know I'm the challenger. There's no two ways about that. There's probably some incumbents that are going to come back, and I'd like to mention that John Williams and his council have done an outstanding job. They've laid the groundwork for a bright future, and my concern, I think is the concern of a lot of people, is let's keep building on that foundation and go forward. I don't think we've seen the best at all in our community. There's so much potential here, and a lot of good things are happening, and I think a lot of good things are going to happen in the future.
5 seats in Ward 1, which is Trenton. That'll be up for grabs. Have you heard, and I guess at this stage we should leave it up to the candidates to be making the announcements as who will run and who won't, but I think some have already indicated they're not. And so do you see vacancies there, or do you see a full field?
I can't answer that. I'll let those people answer that question. It's going to be, like I said, a very formidable race.
So what's your platform?
My platform is let's keep economic development going, the revitalization of the area. Let's keep that going. Let's make the region, along with Quinte West, the place to be, a premier community that provides for solid infrastructure, a great tourist package, and it's great, as our motto is, it's a great place to live and play and set up business. So let's keep that going.
So I'm sure you've been thinking, as you've been inching closer to this, from the time you made the decision that you were going to do this, that, okay, if I'm running, I've got to put out the platform, I have to be able to answer questions, perhaps even point out some flaws that you consider in Quinte West that require some upgrading. It's one thing to say, okay, we want to keep it going, but it's the people that are there that have got it going in the first place. So what new are you bringing to the table?
Well, the big one coming at us right now is the marina. My concern is do we have a good, solid promotion, if it's going to happen, which it will. Do we have a good promotional strategy in place to make that economically feasible, and will it attract the voters? There's a lot of debate still. It passed unanimously, but I think that's a big thing. That's going to be part of our tour's future for sure, and hopefully be part of the whole economic development plan.
Do you see an issue aside from that in Quinte West that's going to need addressing?
We need to keep, building our employment base. Jobs are always a concern all over the place, and in our area, we have a situation that we try to keep in check, but it's always there. It'd be nice that it would be great if we didn't have to have a food bank. There's an example right there. If we didn't have a food bank, that means we don't have people who are hurting. So those kinds of things.
It's interesting. A lot of people jump into this and they feel they have their eyes wide open. Obviously, I'm speaking from a little experience here as to what connects with what. You talk about the food bank, and you talk about hoping that people won't need those types of services, and we all feel and hope the same thing. When we talk about jobs in a community, you of course have to have the job base in order to attract industry, and this is something that we don't talk about in the public an awful lot, but obviously from the industrial level, if an industry is looking at a market, and I look at Quinte as a market, Quinte West, Belleville, Prince Edward County, Stirling Rod and Tweed, the whole package that makes us the Quinte area, and they say the eligibility of, for instance, skilled labor is a big issue in this area, and the lack thereof. So it's a bigger picture. When you approach this, this is something that you're going to have to deal with on Quinte West Council, and that is attraction of skilled labor in order to get those good jobs. How do you see that unfolding? What is it as a councillor that you feel that you can do to assist?
Well, right now we're designated as a shovel-ready place for industry. It's already gone through all the zoning. That's making us a very attractive place for industry to set up, and therefore people with the skilled labor skills will get those jobs. I think we get into education too. There needs to be an emphasis more on the trades. These guys are retiring, and the base coming up is not ready to take on those jobs. So at the provincial level, the ministry has to start looking at that too, putting an emphasis on trades.
Without a doubt, Loyalist College also comes into play here, especially with the addition that they have made at the college in recent years with the skilled training center that they have set up. And I know that from an economic development perspective throughout the Quinte area, it's a major investment all around, but one that's going to pay off here as much as anywhere else.
I agree.
Duncan, I wish you all the best.
Thank you, and Happy New Year to everybody. It's going to be a long haul, but hopefully, if people think I've done a good job in the past, I hope they think I can do a good job in the future.
And it can be a very rewarding experience. I can speak to that if you run for council and get elected, and there will be days where you will walk away from there, Duncan, I can tell you, and say, what did I get myself into? But I think for the most part, you'll find it a lot of fun.
A lot of my endeavors, but it's all worthwhile.
Well, you've had to deal with classrooms full of students. Sitting at a council table probably be like a walk in the park.
Living the dream.
Well, you got to talk about those dreams. No, this is great. All the best. Congratulations on being first in, and best of luck throughout the campaign.
Thank you, and good luck to all the other candidates, too.
Thanks very much for joining us, Duncan.
Bye.
Duncan Armstrong running in Ward 1 in Quinte West, and he was the first one to jump in yesterday. There was a